Are they fresh?
I guess so. As fresh as a 7-Eleven taquito could taste.
Fresh out the box. Stop. Look and watch. Ready yet? Get set. It's the Invincible Podcast. Oh.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman. On today's episode, we're going to be diving into issue 140, the latest issue of Invincible to come out. We've got some Invincible-related news and updates to talk about. We've got some emails from you guys, and then our fan spotlight is Jordyn Gilbert. We're going to be talking to him later. Then at the end of the episode, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that we've been reading, watching, and so on. My name's Ryan. Joining me today is TJ.
Hey, it's TJ.
And Bill.
Hi, it's good to be back.
How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good?
Doing really good. Football is back.
Yes, it is.
Football is fucking back.
So nothing has changed in my life.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting topic.
What's that?
Mike Barrett sent out an invite.
I know him.
I am in 3 fantasy leagues, one of which is
saw it.
Invincible Fantasy Football.
Yeah, how you doing?
How does that work?
I won my first week and I lost my second. But here's the thing: when I drafted, I was at Fan Expo, which we'll talk about later, and I did it like in my hotel room. It was the first time I ever drafted from the app, and I didn't. It's kind of a weird league, and I didn't know
So what you're
the
saying
players.
is you're already making excuses.
No, I won one, but I will say my team was garbage because I didn't know that there are 2 quarterbacks that you choose, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex, which the flex doesn't include a running back, which is all of that is kind of strange.
Is the flex anything like a waiver wire?
No, that is not even close.
I don't know anything that you're saying right
I don't
now.
know anything about fantasy football, and
Anyways.
I just like waiver wire. I think it's a funny word.
Waiver wire? What's
Waiver wire is 2 words.
2 words.
The waiver wire is where all of the players are. They're just there. All the players that nobody on any team wants.
Okay.
And then let's say something happens, like
So it's
fucking.
like a fence. They might go to one side of the fence. Is that why it's called a wire?
Exactly. They're all. It's dodgeball, and you're the captain.
Oh.
If you have lost the most, like if you're at the bottom, and you suck, you have the lowest score out of everybody.
Do you understand this?
Sports.
Then you get the first pick out of anybody off the waiver wire. So let's say no one wants this running back because he's the backup running back for the Bills. And then LaShawn McCoy goes down. All of a sudden he becomes valuable and everybody wants him. You're the worst.
McCoy.
You have the... What?
I just said LaShawn McCoy going down like he always does.
He does.
You know,
I don't know.
had you told us about this that you were going to talk about before the podcast, I would have been like, veto. No.
How many people are on
Football.
the Invincible fantasy?
It's a 10-man league.
Nice.
So it's 10 people that love Invincible.
All of Invincible, yeah.
But that are doing...
That's actually really cool.
I thought originally what you were going to say is that like you pick Invincible characters to like...
Oh,
Like you get
it's like an Invincible
like you
league?
get like a theme, like an Invincible theme.
That would
My
be-
name-
That would be too cool.
Is Levy's Invincibles. Me being a Miami Dolphins fan. Levy's
God.
Invincibles is a callback to issue 60, but Invincibles is spelled I-N-F-I-N.
Fins. Oh, the fins.
Ibbles.
Oh, all right.
Get it?
All right.
Get it? Do you get it?
We get it. Wow. So this is what happens when we miss a week.
Fucking hot in here.
It is hot in here, and it just started. We missed a week last week. Sorry about that, everybody. We've been doing this for over a year and a half, and we've never missed an episode.
Why did we miss a week, Ryan?
Because I hurt my hand at work. I was using a piece of equipment at work, and I stabbed my finger, like palm area, and it cut a tendon. So what I thought was maybe a couple stitches on the night that we were supposed to record ended up needing to go to the ER and all that crap. And then the day we would have released an episode, I had to go into surgery to repair the tendon, and now I have to wear what looks like a boxing glove on my hand for 3
It
weeks.
does look like a white boxing glove. Is it a cast too? Is it a hard cast?
Yeah, it's hard underneath.
Oh, wow.
But it's only right there. It's not on the underside.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's
you
just
know what's
this-
cool is I can do this. Oh, that feels
Yeah, I
so
can't,
good.
and it
Oh, I
drives me
love
crazy.
stretching my hands
You know
out.
what else I bet you love
Can
doing? Writing, brushing your teeth,
Can you scratch
taking
your
a
nuts?
shower.
Oh, you have to do that left-handed now.
Everything's left-handed now.
Oh, it probably
and it's
feels
so
pretty
annoying.
interesting.
It's so annoying, man. But it's taken some getting used to. The worst part is Destiny 2 just came out a week ago, and I've been playing a lot of that, and so I haven't gotten to play too many video games with this, so that's a bummer. But Katie's been awesome. She's been doing a lot around the house and helping me out and everything. But sorry about missing the week. We should be good now. It's just you guys are going to have to learn how to edit. So...
Pass, hard pass.
Oh, no.
Noses.
Other things that happened this week. The cover to Invincible 143 was released. The second to last issue was released. Bill, did you see it yet?
I didn't.
You didn't see it? Oh, so we're going to get
No.
your live impressions.
Maybe I did see it.
TJ, you're going to pull it up?
I can pull it up. I can pull it
for
out.
us.
Oh, shoot.
I don't know. I think I like it. Now, Bill, before you see it,
I
do you
love
have any
it.
guesses? Don't show them yet. Do you have any guesses who was going to be on the cover? We didn't even talk
Okay,
about that.
Robot is on 142.
Yep.
Who's on 141?
Tara.
Okay, so Tara's that one, Robot, and then so the one after that.
Who's left? I was so confused. I was trying to think of people that it could be.
Fucking. Could it actually be Rex out of the robot gear?
No, it's not that. It could have, but it's not
Yeah.
that. I would have guessed Monster Girl.
Yeah,
But it's
she's not major
not
enough
big enough.
though.
Ready for this?
Alan, no, he was on one
He was
already.
on one. Yep.
Oliver?
No.
No.
He's
Go
not.
ahead.
All
Thrag?
right, go
no.
ahead and show him, TJ.
Marky?
Yeah. Interesting, right?
And everyone looks fucking sad. And what the? Who's in the fucking? Oh, is that Mark
Okay.
with short hair?
So, I think we all did that. We were all like, who's in his costume?
I thought it was
Is that
bulletproof. I thought it was
Yeah,
bulletproof again.
I thought it was bulletproof.
Yeah.
But it's
then
Mark. It's Mark.
But then
He's
you look
white.
closer.
He's white.
Yeah, but then you look closer and his hair's short. So I'm like, that's it. He's going to lose his hair in the fight with Rag. But then, if you look back at the 142 cover with Robot on the cover, he has long hair in that. So these covers don't necessarily reveal anything. Like they always give us the general theme, and we've talked about that in the past. That they don't necessarily spoil anything for the matter. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was interesting.
Oh, Marky's
we-
sad because of Anissa.
We talking about his
Dirt.
shirt.
On Marky's shirt,
There's a shark.
Grizzly Shark.
It says GS.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
I think that's cool that they
Ollie
got
got Grizzly
yeah,
Shark onto a cover of
That's
Invincible.
awesome.
Yep.
Love that.
Well done. No, I think it's pretty cool. So, what do you guys think? I guess segueing into
That's a way
Wait,
better
wait,
cover.
wait,
That's a
wait, wait,
way
You got more to talk about?
better
Let's
cover.
talk. Let's
Okay,
talk.
so we have Debbie looking at Earth.
Looking at Earth.
So she's back to Earth.
Something.
She's going back
Why?
to Earth.
Why is
She's
she
on a
looking at Earth?
spaceship going back to Earth because she's on that alien planet that
Why?
everyone knows the name of.
I don't know. I mean,
Why
I
not?
have theories, but I'll talk about them after this issue.
Okay, let's do that. This is two
Something has to
issues
do with
away.
Nolan.
You think it has to do with Nolan?
Also, a big thing on this cover, which I think is widely overlooked. Fucking Immortal
Yeah.
is on the cover.
Like prominent too.
I think they're gonna start setting some shit up. I mean, obviously this is 143, so they have to. But I think that this is going to tie in.
What if the series ends on the biggest question that we've always had, and that's how
It's not going to end as a question.
Was Immortal on the cover to the
No.
robot one as well? Was he
No.
one of the people fighting in the background?
I don't know.
He might
I
have
would
been.
think so. I would think so.
You'd think we'd have these photos ready to go here.
Garbage truck on fire.
That's right. Let's move it into. We can keep talking about the covers though, because this kind of has to do with it. New York Comic Con is going to be happening when we release our next episode. In fact, we might be recording it unless we record on that Thursday night. Basically, October 5th. That's the night of Kirkman's panel at New York Comic Con, right?
And you think they might release?
And his panel is called Walking Dead, Invincible, and Beyond. So he's going to talk about Invincible.
Can I say it? Can I say it?
Say what?
Penvinci Pals? We're
In
going to
this
talk
one?
about what he says in
Let's
Penvinci Pals?
talk about it at the end. Unless you want to talk about it now.
I don't know. You got it open.
Are you talking
All right,
about
go for it.
fucking?
Did you read Penvinci Pals?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said that once Invincible ends is when Invincible in other mediums is really going to take
He
off.
says, he says, I have a sense that after the Invincible series ends is when things are going to get really crazy in other mediums. Stay tuned. So, New York Comic Con, 2 weeks away. There's a panel that he's going to be talking about Invincible. We think we're going to see the cover to 144. I think
we're going to see the covers to 144.
That's what I don't want. I want to see the main cover, maybe one variant, and then him say there'll be more variants. We'll reveal them later. Like, we're still 4 months out.
I think we'll get the number of how many there's going to be, though.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think we're going to see the cover.
No,
I think we're 100% going to.
I think that's the only thing I'm confident about.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we're more likely to hear stuff about the movie.
There has to be something for the comic.
Or a video game more than seeing the cover of the comic book.
I would bet $5. We don't have to do a bet, but I am 0% sure that we will not get a single thing new about the movie.
You're 0% sure?
0% sure we won't get anything about the movie.
So that means you're not sure at all?
Never mind.
Okay, you're 100% sure?
Yeah, 100% sure we're not getting anything about the movie.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Just the last time, it's like, yeah, we're still talking about the general, what it's going to be like. It's still so
What if they
early.
do? What if they release the casting?
I think they're
There's
going.
still no casting. There's no script.
How do you know?
Because they're still talking about the general outline. Like,
I think.
unless they're lying.
Can I?
No.
Can I?
Captain interrupting.
Can
Go
I?
ahead, TJ.
Can I? So obviously they're going to talk about the movie because people are going to ask about it. But I think beyond that, I think that they have something planned to talk about. But I don't think that anything is going to be revealed or unveiled or like casting or anything like that. I think that he's going to openly talk about how there are a lot of good ideas flowing. You know,
nothing new.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I disagree.
However, though, Bill, I feel like there's a better chance of maybe something
video game
related.
Yeah,
popping up.
There will. I am telling you now. It may not be at New York City Comic Con, but within 6 months we will get. And this is I'm being exact here. Bold predictions. It will be Telltale within 6 months.
Wow.
Telltale video game 6 months.
I don't know enough because I think that that's the safe bet. I think that that's where they would go with it.
Telltale normally goes very popular, like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy is the fucking biggest thing in the world. So they made a fucking video game of it, and I hear it was not good.
I don't know. I think Matt's playing it.
I had the season pass because I was like, you know what, I play Telltale games. I'm just gonna get the season pass and stop paying like $5 more than what I would. And I started the second episode, but I'm just not like meh. Like, well, I feel like once you've done one, you've done literally all of them. I remember I couldn't fucking wait for The Walking Dead, the very first season they came out with. I couldn't wait for the new episodes, and now I'm just like, oh, whatever.
That's the thing. I will tell you this. I was going to save it for later, but being that I can't play video games with my right hand, I finally started playing Tales from the Borderlands from Telltale. And it's really good. I'm 3 out of 5 episodes in. That being said, I feel like the comedic gold and writing that's so good is, I feel like, a little wasted on a Telltale game because I'm just so exhausted from Telltale games. But that being said, I'd still love an Invincible Telltale game. I'm kind of hoping for something more.
I do feel like they've changed to where they really just go after the major things in pop culture.
So?
Obviously, Walking Dead, Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're doing a Wolf Among Us season 2.
Batman, yeah, like what the fuck?
It's about fucking time. Do you remember how that one ended?
Like their.
Yeah, it's like their second or whatever.
Yeah, that was their.
It was right after Walking Dead. It was right after Walking Dead.
Other than a game or something like that, I could totally see us getting another or 2 more action figures.
Did you get to...
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to happen.
This is very important.
I mean, Ottley said it was going to happen.
I could see an Alan or an Adam Eve.
This is very important. I forget what episode it was in, but were they riding the robot yet?
Yes, that did happen. It was very good.
Bro.
In Tales from the Borderlands.
Cuts to her telling the story.
Ago?
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, that
wasn't
really
a while
good.
ago. It was 2 minutes ago.
Do you think they're going to reveal action figures?
Yeah, Ottley said that there was more.
He said that they're coming.
Yeah.
Kind of off the record. Who do you think it'd be?
Eve.
I think it's going to be.
Definitely.
I think it's going to be the main 4.
Yeah, Eve, Nolan.
Who's the main 4?
Invincible, Eve, Nolan, and Alan.
Okay, no.
I would say Alan too.
No, not
I would say Thrag.
So 4 heroes, no villains. Huh?
Maybe Conquest. Maybe they would do Conquest.
I don't think it would be Conquest. I
Or
think if it's a villain, it would be Thrag.
I think it'd have to be Thrag. Yeah, I'd want it to be Conquest
over
or Angstrom.
Conquest.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Then again, look at the.
I'm not
minis.
saying I like Thrag more than Conquest.
Right.
I'm saying that Thrag was an outrageously bigger part of Invincible as a title, as the comic, than fucking Conquest.
How about Robot? How about an evil robot or a robot with an evil variant? That would work.
Yeah. I wouldn't buy it. I'd buy it because I want everything.
That was the quickest turnaround in history. I wouldn't buy it. I'd buy it.
I'd buy it, but it would be. Let me rephrase. It'd be out of all the things that they could come out with, it would probably be the last thing I'd buy.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, moving on with conventions. TJ, how was Fan Expo Canada?
Awesome.
That was like 2 weeks ago, I think.
It was very much fun. I got a lot of commissions that I'll post on the site that are Invincible related. Mm-hmm. I met Jim Lee, which is kind of a cool story.
That is pretty cool.
Because I had him sign Invincible issue 51, which he did the cover to.
You did choose that one?
I did.
Good. That was a smart decision.
Well, actually, what was cool was I paid for like a meet and greet with him, where he could sign. He signs 3 different things. So I chose the hardcover full compendium of Hush. I have this gigantic poster that I got matted onto wood, or mounted onto wood, that I had him sign that from Hush, and then issue 51.
Did he say anything about the big poster?
I put it up and I was like, sorry to be an asshole, and like kind of like, because it was gigantic, and I put it up on the table and he was like, oh no, that's cool, and he like he's like, oh, this is the poster, because I had it like not facing him, and he's like, oh, this is the poster. He's like, I have this, and then he like kind of grabbed it and he was like shaking it, and he's like, but what is? And I was like, oh, I had it mounted onto wood. He's like, this is beautiful. I was like, oh, thanks, Jim Lee. Thank you. And then
how did you carry that around with you?
I had to walk from my car all the way through the convention. The convention was on the...
This is like a 4.5 foot long...
Yeah, this is not... And it's heavy. It's
huge.
Heavy. It's probably 30 pounds.
Extremely heavy.
30 to 40 pounds.
I carried it all the way from my car, all the way clear across the building. Like, literally, it was on the other side of the building. Took it in there, leaned it up against the wall, like... Went up, got it signed. After the signing, I had to take it all the way back to my car. It was insane.
I would be terrified of walking with it and having it like hit a corner.
That's why I had it faced out somewhere. I had it facing towards me. But anyways, I had him sign Invincible 51, and I asked him. I was like, "So have you read any Invincible?" And he goes, "This is issue 51, right?" And I go, "Yeah." And he's like, "I've read issue 1 through 50." He's like, "I didn't even read this one. I didn't even read 51." And he said, "I don't remember much from it, but I remember it being insane, and I liked it a lot." I was like, "You should definitely go back to it." And he was like, I'm a busy man. He's on like 6 titles right now in DC.
I'm actually surprised he read 1 through 50 leading up to it. I wonder if it was something that, they got him on to do the cover, and then after he was signed on to do the cover, he went and read it.
I think
drew the cover. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He didn't have to read it.
No, I know. That's just
reference
interesting
characters.
To me. Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
So, I like the fact that he read 50 issues just to draw the cover, if that's the case.
Yeah, but the poster actually kind of. Something kind of cool is that I brought the poster. It was so big that I was one of the first people there. So they're supposed to seat us like front row, back, based on how you arrive. And my poster was so big, she was like, oh, just sit in the middle. So I had to, because that way there was a wall that I could actually lean my poster up against. So I had to wait for all these people that came after me to go first. But halfway through, literally as my line was called up to go up to meet and greet, his team showed up and said like, oh, if you buy this print for this much money, he'll sign this and you get another signing for free. So I got like 6 things signed by him, which was cool. Like a lithograph that came with it too, like that I'm going to have framed. It was very much fun. Cool. Yeah, I had a good time at Fan Expo.
Someone asked us, I think it's in one of the emails later, if we were going to be making it to New York Comic Con, and unfortunately we cannot.
It's really tough to get, like you have to like pre-apply for tickets and then like wait 2 weeks, and then once you get approved to buy the ticket, then you can buy the ticket, and it's like it's really weird.
It would have been nice. Can you imagine going to the Robert Kirkman panel though?
Yeah,
that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
but all right, a couple more things before we get into issue 140. I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple things out there. The Grawlix podcast, that's GRAWLIX podcast. They just released an episode of their podcast where they talked about the first 13 issues of Invincible. They're just another comic book and geek pop culture kind of podcast, and they did a really, really good job discussing the first 13 issues just off of memory and like things that were that stood out to them and everything, and just wanted to give them a shout out. You should give it a listen. And then the obviously the Kind of Funny guys, we talk about them a lot. The Game Over Greggy show this week had Cena Grace, former editor at Skybound. He edited with Robert Kirkman titles including Invincible, and he's done a lot of stuff, Little Depressed Boy and everything. and he was on the Game Over Greggy show, and they talked about Invincible a good amount. So
it was actually the topic of the day of that particular episode. But it was weird because they didn't really talk about it too much.
Yeah, they just talked about it in the beginning a little bit. But then it was cool. They talked about like other things that Cena has done and what it was like to be an editor at Skybound. He gave a little story about almost how messing up a hardcover.
They work way too hard, and like they're very hard workers over at Skybound. So
so two cool things out there. Go check them out. Other than that, you guys can get in touch with us. If you guys want to email us, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. Leave us reviews on iTunes, all that good stuff. A listener wrote in a couple weeks ago, Xavier Perez, and he wrote this awesome email, and I wanted to wait till both Bill and TJ were here. And he wrote in and said, so it's a little bit of a long one, so buckle up, but it's worth it. Xavier wrote in and said, literally a month ago today, I saw you guys commenting on Ryan Ottley's Twitter and looked into your podcast. I was initially upset that it wasn't on Spotify, but you responded immediately with what other places to check it out. And then, he found it, and I listened to episode 37 yesterday and heard the shout out from our conversation on Twitter saying that I was starting at the beginning, which made me laugh because by the time I listened to that, I was pretty much caught up. I just finished 38 today and heard TJ read my Facebook message, which was also cool, referencing the Thragbuster. He was the one that called it the Thragbuster. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to follow you guys bi-weekly as we approach the end of all things, and I'm waiting on Capes, Guardians of the Globe, Invincible Universe episodes. I feel like I need to annoy Bill and say that I really enjoyed the New Reader episodes, and I'm glad to see them go. But it's awesome that they caught up and they can experience the end monthly with the rest of us now. Hearing the New Reader issues definitely inspired me to harass my girlfriend a bit more into trying Invincible out. She knows so much about the story of via me babbling about it. I feel like she'd like it, but she's pretty anti-comic book, sadly. She's a big Star Trek fan, so I recently picked up the Mirror Broken comic for her based on The Next Generation, and she's really been enjoying that. So I'm slowly convincing her comic books are good. Maybe someday she'll give Invincible a shot.
Your girlfriend sounds like Brittany.
And yeah, you're right, because Brittany was super into Star Trek.
And she never read comic books.
Yeah. That's because Star Trek The Next Generation's the bomb diggity.
Yeah.
Bomb
diggity.
Oh.
Yeah.
Xavier continues, Ryan, maybe you can convince your wife to read it and do one-on-one episodes with her reader spouse, like the Kevin Smith Podcast Plus One, but for Invincible, which is an awesome idea. I thought about that, and that'd be fun. Sorry to send such a long email. I just had stuffed 38 episodes into a month, so I had a lot to say. It's cool being able to listen to people who enjoy the Invincible comic and universe as much as I do, and talk about new issues, going over the old issues and tie-ins. Keep up the good work, guys, and some feedback for your post-interview part of the last episode is I enjoyed it. It would be sad to see this podcast end with Invincible, so I feel like going forward, talking about other comics or media in between Invincible and movie game and video game news would be much better than no podcast at all. And I obviously have to sign off with, love, Xavier. P.S. Random question. Is Bill such a big Star Trek fan that he named his son Riker, or is that just a coincidence? My name is Xavier Charles, and my mother and father were not at all into comic book fans, so I figured it's possible he just liked the name.
So, interesting.
That's awesome that your name is Xavier Charles.
Yeah, that is cool. Interesting story. Liz wanted Riker as his name. And she was looking for like Celtic names and stuff like that. And she was like, oh yeah, what do you think about Riker? I'm like, okay, you understand Riker's from Star Trek, right? Like number one. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, let's go with it. I'm just gonna tell everyone it's that then. Mm-hmm. So it's a topic of conversation, but no, she had nothing.
Yeah. The name wasn't decided on because of that.
Right.
It's a nice bonus though.
Right. It is definitely
cool. He also throws a PPS in. And he's the one that asked if we were attending New York Comic Con. Sadly, Ryan Ottley isn't coming, but I'm very excited for Robert's panel. Xavier, are you going to New York Comic Con? We're like we just said, we're not going to make it, but I'm jealous of anybody that can make it to that Robert Kirkman panel. I am excited to see what news comes out of it, though. So thank you for that email, though. It's always amazing me when fans catch up from the beginning.
Don't do it.
I know.
Don't do it.
I can't believe it. We had some pretty rough early ones.
I literally, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or something, I was listening to the first couple, and I'm like...
Really? Why?
Like, I don't know. I don't remember why I was. I think... I don't remember. There was a reason why I went back. I can't remember why.
I think
went back
after
to the very
issue
first one, and we were so bad.
Well, the problem was the first couple, we literally did want to just say, hey, let's try it and see what happens. We didn't really have main topics. The first one was just us talking about us being Invincible fans.
Yeah.
Then after that
Which was a mistake. Like, knowing that we were going to do this, we should have...
Well, yeah, but we didn't know.
Yeah.
And then after that, us just talking about Rexplode. And then after that, us talking about a theoretical movie, which is fun to go back and listen to. But anyways.
I feel like 2 years from now, we're going to look back at this episode and be like, you're still fucking bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're the first to admit it. All right, let's talk about issue 140. Right off the bat, the cover is one of the coolest covers.
We talked about this when we read the next on.
Yeah.
With the light behind it, and yeah.
This also has a variant. It's the Lorenzo De Felici variant, which I think is TJ's background, isn't it, on your phone?
It is.
Oh, is that the one with all the...
It is indeed.
Oh, it's so cool. The coloring on that. I just found out today, listening to the Skybound Roundtable, where they get some of the Skybound employees to talk about comics every week, where that artist, De Felici, is going to be doing a comic for them that they haven't announced yet. So that's going to be kind of cool. Love this cover. It's awesome. Off the bat, you want to go into it,
Well,
Bill?
I have a question to ask you guys.
Okay.
So before the podcast, I went and I looked up some fun facts with the sun. How hot it is.
Really?
The boiling point of certain and
No
melting
way.
point of certain things.
I fucking love that you did that.
I feel like you never, do things.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
So would you like to know?
This is something I would pull out, like statistics.
All right. I have some statistics for you.
Oh my god.
Okay, first of all, how hot in Fahrenheit do you think the sun is? This is the surface of the sun.
I can't even begin to guess.
Whatever comes after billion. It's a number that we don't
It's
hear.
absolutely not that hot.
No?
No.
500 million. I don't know.
Way less.
No way.
Way less.
How hot is it?
Wait, what's the measurement?
Fahrenheit. 9,941 degrees Fahrenheit. 9,000. So 10,000 degrees is the surface of the sun.
Yeah.
Now,
I feel like it's at least 10,000 degrees in this room right now.
So, it is appropriate that we have like our first sweatbox episode.
So then I wanted to be like, I don't really know how hot that is. Like, we know how hot 100 degrees is, so I was like, I wonder what the boiling point or melting
This is
point
the surface of the sun?
This is the surface of the sun. How
I
hot
wonder
the
what they
surface of the sun
determine the
is.
surface to be, because I don't think it really has a surface.
All right, so
Sure it does.
well, sure it does. It's the fucking fire that you touch.
I mean, it's just like floating lava.
So
It's
to
just,
give you
like,
guys
all over
to
the
give you
place.
guys an idea, aluminum melts at 1,200 degrees. Bronze 1,600 degrees. Let's see here. Nickel 2,600 degrees. Steel is 2,500 degrees, and tungsten, which a lot of people have their wedding rings made out of, is 6,100 degrees Fahrenheit. Is when it starts to melt. So then I'm like, what the fuck? How strong are these guys to where they could just
and what was
hang
this,
out
900?
right?
The sun was what?
10,000 degrees.
10,000.
9,900. Okay, so what is the melting point of a diamond?
I have no idea.
Melting point?
Of a diamond.
I think hotter than the sun. Hotter than the sun?
Do you think?
I don't even think I've never.
I've never heard of
ever
a
crossed my
diamond
mind.
melting.
Do you think that Invincible is stronger than a diamond?
Wow.
I do now.
That's interesting.
Do you? I didn't give you the answer yet. Do you think?
Yes.
Okay, so you think Invincible is stronger than a diamond?
I'm gonna say. Oh, I don't know.
Think about it.
Do
you think if you were to take a diamond, the hardest substance on Earth, and were to scratch Invincible with it or Thrag, it would scratch them?
No, I'd say no.
Well, I mean,
I think
diamonds break, so Invincible can break. Obviously, we've seen him bleed, but we're talking about, is Invincible's melting point higher or lower than a diamond?
Oh.
That's a different question.
You're right, it is. I don't know, Bill.
I still think
Tell us.
that
The melting point of a diamond is 6,422 degrees.
Wow.
Of a diamond.
How did they find that out? That's ridiculous.
Melted it. Isn't that interesting?
Very
Oh,
interesting.
also,
wow.
so then I also did one more. Sorry that I'm taking so much time here. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun.
Uh-huh.
And they were fighting around the sun because I was like, okay, I can understand them fighting close to the
hot
sun,
is
but
it
not
on
like
Mercury?
on the surface, because they were fighting on the surface of the sun. Like there, it was flame was there,
yeah,
right? They were there. Mercury is only 801 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, like the hottest point.
Interesting.
So just to give you an idea,
But the sun is 10,000? I feel like 8,000.
800.
Oh, 800?
Yeah, it's the surface of Mercury, which is a close. I mean, but it's still fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away, to hundreds of thousands of miles away. Yeah.
No, okay.
10,000 degrees. Diamonds melt at 6.
Interesting.
Your poof is quite prominent today.
Oh, thank you. My hair poof?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's get into the comic. Now that we know what they're fighting
Science
in right
Corner
now.
with Bill. This is great. I love this new segment. So right off the bat, the first page, they have clothes on, and thanks to Bill, that makes no sense.
Thank you. Are their clothes made of diamonds? I don't think so.
I don't know. I just was going to start off with, what were your initial thoughts of this issue? Because
TJ, you go first. I just spent a lot of time talking.
I said before to anybody who's read or has watched the movie Karina, where the little girl takes the crayon and the other kid's like, who used all the yellow crayon? But it was actually a brown crayon. There's a lot of yellow in this.
Yeah, there is. A lot of yellow, a lot of orange.
So the entire first half of the comic, I'm thinking, fucking Nathan Fairbairn.
Oh my
the
God.
whole time. Then the second half of the comic, I was like, fucking Ryan Ottley.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Who, just a correction, apparently there was an issue. Mark Morales, who has been doing an awesome job as inker, and excited to see what he does, later on, got credited for inking this issue when actually I believe it was Ryan Ottley that inked this issue. I've heard from a couple different sources that it was actually Ryan Ottley that inked this one as well, which I'd love to hear more about how the inking process goes and the coloring process goes with this issue. Sorry, TJ, go on.
I thought it was very good. I tried to read it slow because I felt like it was a quick issue, so I was trying to read it slow. I liked it very much. It was everything that I was expecting it to be and everything that I wanted it to be. So expecting is not a negative thing; it's a good thing.
Yep.
I wanted everything that happened in this episode or in this issue.
Pleasantly surprised that with the amount that it still surprised me. Like we predicted, a lot of this issue, but the way it happened was still so good. Like Robert Kirkman putting his own little stamp on it was awesome. There is a lot of this issue is fighting and narration. So this isn't going to be, I don't think we necessarily need to go page by page with this issue, but unless there's certain things we'll talk about as we go. But I loved right off the bat we get Thrag saying why he's doing all this, and it is straight up for revenge. There's no other reason.
Which is super fucked up.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that last.
That's villainous right there. That is not a leader. That's villainous.
That he's past that. I mean, we found out last issue when he was throwing his kids at Mark that he is just, sadistic and villainous. But what is this called, Bill? In all your sun research?
That is a solar flare, I think.
And that was the first time that pretty much took all their clothes off, right? Yeah. Pretty much.
And that was fucking badass. Like at first I was like, oh, they're just throwing punches by the sun, and all of a sudden it's just like, boom! Like,
Invincible
could you imagine
is still wearing pants.
A little bit, but like a page later, and they're like almost gone.
Yeah.
But they should have just ignited right away. But I mean, that's nor here nor it's fiction.
Yeah. I think like his back boiling and everything. Like we see early on. I like how they teased like, oh, here's the surface, here's the liquid part, by showing Mark's back boil, and it's almost like foreshadowing. Like, hey, we're going in that in a little bit.
Did you guys find this really uneasy? Like when I was reading it, I felt like I was holding my hand over like a burner of a stove.
Really?
Yeah, like I just felt I felt their pain, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it's so brightly colored that it was almost like you find yourself squinting.
Yeah.
At it.
Yeah, totally. Especially later on when they're almost indistinguishable.
Yeah, dude.
Now, one of my favorite things, the first moment like that really hit me, that I was like, oh, this is cool. Obviously, yeah, we thought they were gonna fight on the sun. We knew that was gonna happen. But the moment his what does he call it? His transmitter fries, I was like, oh shit. So Mark can't talk. I wasn't a huge fan of the file this under lines. Thought those were a little cheesy. But
I liked even before that though. I liked that Thrag was like, "Fuck this! Like I'm out of here. I got people to kill." And like he was like trying to
You
leave,
wanna die? Go
and then
for
you're
it.
like, Mark grabs him and flies right into the surface of the sun. You're like, "Oh, this motherfucker crazy!"
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was it. And that was the page. I mean, so he just got thrown to the surface, Mark did, and his back boiled, and the next thing Mark did was like, oh, and he just fucking grabs Thrag and dives into the sun.
Yeah, he says that his transmitter is fried, and the last thing Thrag hears Mark say is words not important. And then the last thing we hear Thrag say is, oh hell, as they dive into the surface of the sun.
At this point, I was, in talking about the art, I was like, holy shit, Ryan Ottley, because you can see every vein. He draws muscles, the veins, the tendons, like the whole, from here on out, until the end of the fight is just awesome. I've never really seen, I've seen like fan art that he's done, like, but we've never really seen anything like this in Invincible that Ottley has done, where it's just like literally it's just all muscle.
Yeah.
Just grossness.
It's a skinned person, and it's really good too. And still the coloring on it and everything like that, just like how it shows the little details of the muscle. But are you guys a little disappointed that you don't know what Thrag's thinking right now?
A little bit.
Because I wanted to hear him squeal and whine like a little bitch, like so bad.
Yeah, but you can kind of see it in his face. Ollie did such a good job. Like right early on, he looks like
oh shit.
Right here, yeah, he's like, oh shit, like he's serious. Like I think Thrag knows they're both going down. He's just trying to take him down with him.
Well, I think the look on Thrag's face when they finally come out and he's in the top right corner of the page and he's like looking at his hands. The shock, and then what's the look on Invincible's face?
Yes,
he's still ready.
Yes, and that's when the panel on that page, he says, "I just figured out why I'm going to win, and you're definitely going to lose." Mm-hmm. This was the Kirkman stamp on this issue.
This was. Kirkman was like, "I need a moment here."
Yeah.
And he just, everything.
It makes so much
everything
sense.
that he writes, obviously, he's the creator of this comic. We love everything that he writes, but this part was clearly like, I'm gonna have my own fucking moment. And he literally, I think that's why his transmitter broke, because Kirkman just wanted to talk for a little while.
Do you think he could have, like, part of me feels like, yeah, maybe that's why it happened, but he couldn't have gone into the surface of the sun, have his skin boil off, and the transmitter still work?
Yeah. No,
I know. I feel like it's a good thing both ways. Like, Kirkman used it as an opportunity.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think that this is, yeah, we agree.
Yeah. And using this as a way to, like, this is just the way he's talking to Thrag. And he talks about everything about the Viltrumite Empire and, what they stand for and how it's the whole old way versus new way thing, which has been a conflict between the Viltrumites from the very beginning of the series. It was just great. I loved it. What did you guys think of the robot showing up?
Awesome, but this is the panel that I thought was weird.
Yeah.
Is this the one you thought so too?
So yeah. So Mike Barrett wrote into the podcast and said this was an awesome issue. So much stuff I love seeing. So much of the stuff we love seeing and have missed seeing. I don't think we have seen action this good since the Viltrumite War. I think this issue is better than any of those. Regardless of my love for this issue and my respect for the creators, I have to register a criticism for you guys. On page 8, Robot's Arrival, I really think the visual storytelling and or the script is a little lacking here and had me confused. Was I the only one confused by the sequence? At first I thought Rex was sending a robot to help. Then on the next panel shows the face shield open and I thought that was Rex. I totally missed the robot wrapping around Mark and it was explained until it was explained in the writing. In my very humble opinion, I think the first panel should have shown the robot partially open, or Ottley should have added a panel showing the robot encasing Mark. Also, having the script explanation of what was happening in the last panel forced me to reread the page to clear up my confusion. I don't know, I feel like I'm challenging two modern legends in the comic world on an issue where I'm sure, because it's something that I'm sure I wanted to be perfect, but I welcome your opinion. Am I crazy? Also, did anyone else feel their eyes adjust to the colors on the last couple pages after most of the issue was in the sun? My compliments to Nathan Fairbairn for some amazing colors this issue. Love, Mike Barrett. 100%.
I agree that maybe it should have been open, but I was never actually confused about this. You guys, when we sat down, you guys were like, there was one panel that I was confused about that Mike also emailed, and I was like looking through, and I couldn't find it because I didn't know what you guys were talking. I didn't
really. I think I read this entire page thinking that Rex was in the suit.
No, I didn't think that.
Really?
I mean, cool. when he first showed up, I did.
Yeah.
But when it showed his face, it's like all scarred and everything. Like I knew that was Invincible in the suit.
Interesting. See, I assumed that it was Rex burned up a little bit from opening the visor for some reason, which wouldn't make sense for him to open it. And you know what? Looking at it, it does look like the robot armor is opening up at the mouth a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I do agree that I think that it should have been fully opened.
It could have been. I think it could have been a little bit more epic, I suppose, because it is such a cool thing. Like, oh, what's robot
awesome.
gonna do?
I will say, when he showed up, I didn't like it at all until the dialogue of like, I have friends who you have, and I was like, oh,
this is even my worst enemy that is helping me.
My worst enemy is helping me.
Yeah, you don't have
Who
anybody.
Do you have?
Love that.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And again, yes, we agree, Mike. That there's nothing wrong with this page. It was a little confusing, But yeah, I love that. The writing on that was amazing. And then the moment that Mark says, at least until it starts to melt, and I'm like, oh.
That's what I thought right away. I was like, how hard is this? If diamonds melt at 65, like, what is this made of? But the next scene that I was really...
Oh, I gotta say this. Each punch I throw has the weight of everyone I love and everyone who loves me behind it. You feel the force of who I'm fighting for with every blow. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, this might be one of my favorite issues in terms of Kirkman's writing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, because he had the ability to not write dialogue, how someone would be interacting.
That's true.
It's like inner monologuing, which, I mean, you think about what you can say to yourself and not be judged and stuff like that.
Yeah, this comic doesn't really ever do that too much, does it?
Yeah, no, there's
everything's
no inner
unspoken.
monologue. It's,
Interesting. And just, again, talking about how Thrag clings to the old ways, and Mark talking about how...
you think that only strength, only the strong should survive. You cling to the practices and that pushed our people to the brink of extinction.
Think about that line right there.
But he doesn't care.
That is something that we talked about after reading the first volume of Invincible.
Yeah.
Or after finding about the truth about Nolan, after he kills the Guardians of the Globe. Like, his race, like that hand cover where he talks to Mark and says, oh, we were actually a race that culled the weak, and we went from planet to planet to take over. Like, this is what Mark is fighting for here. And it's so, like, and ironically, in the suit of Robot. And having it start to melt, and it just
the
looks
scene.
like... Oh.
Do you guys know how many, like, textures there are in this? There's skin flaking off because they are roasting slowly. There's this liquid metal. The scene, the last panel on the page of the helmet slowly melting off of his face, and you seeing, like, the look on his face is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. I would be afraid of Mark right now.
Oh, yeah, it's terrifying.
Terrified.
Him saying that how Thrag, interacts. No room for peace. No room for compassion. No room for love. You thought you were keeping the Empire alive, pulling us back from the brink of extinction. The truth is you were holding us back. I love all that. Like, this is so good.
Yeah, man. What did you guys think of Mark biting Thrag?
I like that because it's like he's gonna do whatever the fuck it takes. You know what I mean?
I didn't catch it at first, but I didn't. My first read through, I didn't notice him getting both his arms messed up. Thrag squeezes Mark's left hand at the wrist.
I love the way that looks too.
Yeah, and then he
awesome.
snaps.
Yeah, and then he snaps it. He squeezes it right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he breaks that wrist, and then he punches through his right arm's elbow. So that's why he's not using his arms, and why he attacks him by just flying on top of him. And
straddles him with his legs, yep.
And then bites his neck. Devin Barry, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, messaged me and said that it reminded him of Walking Dead. And it's true. It's a very Kirkman thing to do. I mean, Rick has done it a couple times, I feel like. Mark's even done it before to Conquest, wasn't it? Didn't he, like, spit it out?
Yeah, his shoulder. It was like his...
On his shoulder, yeah. So that whole biting thing is a very, very Kirkman thing.
But I think to TJ's, he would just do anything it took. He had no use of his arms. This I couldn't believe. I was like, wait a minute. So this is it.
So yeah,
Thrag's dead.
So this whole line as he's biting that chunk out, like him. This is Mark talking about the Viltrumite Empire that he would create. This is the one that he believes the Viltrumites could be. They could be a force for good. They can spread peace throughout the galaxy. We can love and be loved, and we can be happy. And that line, "we can be happy," as he's taking a bite out of his neck. his jugular.
Does anyone think that Thrag looks like Magneto? I think he looks like Magneto.
With like the shape of his skull and stuff.
He looks like a burnt up Magneto.
I think it's the dome of the eyes, his eye sockets sinking
and
in,
his how it goes down to the jaw.
Cheekbones go down to his jaw.
Thrag is super fucked up in this, man. His face is almost gone, like gone down to the bone.
God, and I love this. All right, so like I said, I wish you could have heard me. Like calling back to the fact that like you won't hear me as I say this. I wish you could hear what I'm saying. But now you're dead, and I'll soon follow. My mind is racing, thinking all the potential of what we could achieve, if only I could live to see it.
So at this point, this is typically where I'm like, oh no, when I turn the page, it's going to be the last page, and he's going to be like dead.
Kirkman, someone swoops in.
Kirkman didn't get me on this one. I knew he wasn't going to die.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I didn't think Mark was going to die. At this point, before you turned the page, did you think we were going to see more of Thrag? Like, did you think that Mark was correct in him saying he was dead?
I thought he was wrong.
Or better yet, would you have been satisfied if we didn't see any more of Thrag?
I would not have been satisfied. No unanswered questions, especially like that. You can't leave anything ambiguous because it's the end. Mm-hmm. And they do me a great favor by showing him disintegrate into nothing after Alan comes in and swoops him.
And on an awesome page, too. Zooming in closer, showing his hand dissolve, his face dissolve.
And then his skull just into nothing. Into nothing.
It reminds me of the beginning of Terminator 2.
The beginning of Terminator 2?
Yeah, when she grabs a hold of the fence.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
And then they blow apart like a bag of leaves or something like that, right? What did she say? How they crumble. Yeah. How the bodies like crumble like dried leaves or something.
I thought of Lord of the Rings.
Of course you fucking did.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, Gollum? Yeah. Going into the...
Yeah. Alan does look awesome swooping in, though. Because it also looks... Like, the way... I guess it's both Ryan's pencils and inks and the coloring, but it looks like Alan is disintegrating a little. Like,
he's
just gonna rebuild stronger.
No, I know, but that it just looks so cool. Like they're just that blurriness around them and a little bit like their sweat, their skin
little flakes,
dripping, and then swooping up and taking them away. And then yes, Mike Barrett, absolutely. It's so jarring turning the page from something so white because your eyes go from this Thrag page of him dissolving goes from a darker yellow to lighter, and then like a white, and then you turn the page and it's just black.
Now you read you have the comic, right? Where is it at?
The physical?
Where's it sitting at? I wonder, is it because I'm reading it on like digitally, so I know that my screen it almost feels brighter.
It's so bright, even in comic
bright.
form. Like, I almost feel like it's even more bright.
No, it's definitely brighter while you're reading it digitally. If you haven't read it digitally, I think that this is one that you should definitely read digitally because it makes you squint. It is so bright.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's definitely bright, but dude, look at the comparison.
Well, that's true.
The pages look wet.
Yeah.
Because it's so bright. It looks like it's... I think they're both pretty much the same.
So, I thought it was going to end with them. I didn't think...
I kind of hoped it would end with them.
I kind of did too. I mean, here's the thing. If we didn't only have like 4 more issues left, I would say, yeah, I wish it would have just ended with them. But at this point, I want to get every ounce of story out of every issue if we can. And I was so satisfied with the Thrag, Mark fight that I didn't care that we got to see something else. And this didn't... I don't think this really necessarily took away from it at all. But... seeing Mark look like a mummy,
just crispy, just
like if you ever gone to like the natural history museums and you see like the remains, those mummified, and he just looks so gross. And Eve,
So what did you guys think of the end? The interaction between Alan and Ursula?
I think they used the end to just kind of tie this up. I think that I like that. It's not like tied up, but I mean, she's clearly making her way, obviously, to the good side. Alan kind of making a truce with her, saying, "I want to work with you to create peace among our people." Mm-hmm. And I love that she said, "I'm not naive enough to think that I'm just going to be forgiven for this, But she does want to work with him.
What did you think, Bill? And I'll give my thoughts after.
I don't know. Like, I liked how it started, and. Ursula saying I'm intrigued and in like how you fight for each other, you defend each other. We've never had anything like that. But then saying like all the bad that she's done, all the bad that Mark has done to her family, and saying that some things will never ever be healed. And then Alan being like with his hands on his hips, kind of G.I. Joe-esque.
You think it was a little too lighthearted for this issue?
Yeah, not lighthearted. Just, I don't want to say the word corny, but after what we had just read that was so deep and thoughtful of what Mark was thinking and saying to himself, and then he's like, haven't you ever heard of forgiveness?
No, I get it.
G.I. Joe. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. My stance is I think that this was done because I predict that next issue is going to be a time jump. And Ursul's going to be okay with everything. Like, they're going to be good with Ursul. And if that wasn't the case, then you can't have this scene. This scene had to happen this issue if next issue is going to be a time jump.
You think they're going to do another time jump?
Not like anything long.
Like
but
what?
Like
6 months?
Let me
year?
let me put it this way. Do you think Mark is going to be healed in like a week will pass?
He's a fucking Viltrumite, dude.
know.
Thrag had his eye torn out of his face.
I don't think Mark will be in fighting position in 2 issues. It's the robot war. You think he's going to be in fighting condition?
Dude, he fought Dinosaurus after he fought Conquest. And both of his arms were busted, his hand, his
that
leg.
was actually a long time had passed.
No,
because
it wasn't.
went to it went to Nolan and
you're right.
Alan on their adventures, and it came back, and Mark said, "Oh, well, I've been wearing this for X amount of time, and I
Okay.
guess I don't need it anymore. I'm fully healed."
I think it has to be a time jump if they're going to continue the story. He's got to heal.
I agree. And I think that's why showing this scene with Ursula.
So how much of a time jump? It would at least be 6 months.
I think that Mark wakes up. I think that Nolan's alive. I think that Debbie is on the space station. She came.
The problem with the time jump.
Tara came, which is why she's on the cover. And I think Ursul's working with them.
So give me a time frame.
Well, but there are no bad Viltrumites
Give
now.
me something to work off of because I want
2
to
months.
say something. You think that Robot has these kids for 2 months and
No, I
nothing
think
is done about it for
That's
2
the
months?
thing. I don't know.
That's
So
the
here's-
problem with the time jump.
So here's the thing.
I do
Bill-
think it will be, but
Yeah.
how is that going to be addressed?
Yeah, Bill, give us the next time on, and then we're going to talk about what we think is coming.
Okay. Next issue. The End of All Things. Part 9. Things take a dark turn as we are near the end.
I feel like this is the first time where they have not given us like
Give us
shit.
nothing. So
Nothing.
here's the thing. This entire End of All Things, we've been like, oh, Thrag's going to die. Thrag's going to die. Thrag's going to die. Come on, let's go. This fight was Thrag.
First it
He's
was
gonna
Nolan's going to die, Nolan's going to
Yes,
die, then he
yes.
dies, and then Thrag's going to die, and now he dies, and then now what?
We don't have any predictions.
I have
we're,
none.
We're at the point where we don't know what's going to happen. We know there's this thing called the Robot War in 2 issues. It's going to be a giant-sized issue-ish. It's going to be 2 issues away.
There's 2 issues
I think
in
we
between
talked-
then
no.
and now?
One. This one and then Robot War.
Okay.
I think we talked about this before, but I forget. Do you guys think Rex is going to die? We talked about this before Nolan. I remember now
yeah,
because I
we did.
said my opinion was that if Nolan dies, Rex will not die.
Yeah.
I
So
said
now
if Thrag dies, Rex will not die.
I agree. That's what I was just about to say. I think now that Thrag just died, you can't kill your big villain 2 issues apart. I think he's going to lose, but maybe he won't stay in this dimension. Something like that. It's gonna be something where he loses and leaves.
I don't want any dimension stuff for the end.
for the rest of the series.
Why?
No, I don't want that.
Well, but you
I
said
mean,
you wanted
no.
the flax on... someone else wrote that in an
If it was
email,
like a
right?
part of like, oh, they brought fucking whoever from this dimension to fight this, cool.
Yeah, that'd
but
be
when
cool.
it comes to like the overall ending, like where Invincible goes, or like I don't
agree,
want like, because, I mean, obviously it's going to depend on how they do it, but dare I say, it would kind of feel like a cop out.
Yeah.
I don't,
Like, you don't
dimensional
want there to
stuff
be-
at the
yes,
definitive
you don't want
end
there
would
to
be a
like,
cop out.
everybody dies, but we found an alternate universe where
Yes.
everything is the same.
I
You're
don't
going to
think
spend the
Kirk-
rest of your life there.
Kirkman wouldn't do that.
I don't think so either.
Kirkman would not.
But
do
I
that.
agree with you. But having a little nod to other dimensions is fine. But
Yeah.
I don't think doing that. So
I feel like when Rex.
I have no idea, Ryan.
So
I have
this-
no idea what's going to happen.
yeah, again, we can't take too much off the covers. But Tara's on the cover of the next one. I think her and Debbie are going to be coming back. I think this one's going to be a lot of character development. I think Mark's going to be healing or in recovery for this issue. Debbie is going to, be with Nolan unless he actually died, which I cannot see happening. They wouldn't have left it with.
No.
This
He's
one's
not
still
gonna die.
breathing.
I will say, I mean, with Nolan kind of on the table right now, we don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah.
I think everybody in this issue is crying, and I think now we know why. That makes me think maybe it's not going to be a time jump.
I think so. But that means by the end of this issue, would the time jump be at the beginning of robot war, or is Mark not going to participate in the robot war?
Mark
The
is
robot
not,
war is a double-sized issue. They can get a lot of story
I
out
think,
in that.
man, I can't see Mark being up to fighting speed.
The end of
exactly.
In two issues.
Exactly.
The end of
Imagine
the-
how vulnerable he's going to be.
The
That's a
end,
good point.
The end of the next issue could be the time jump. The final page could be a time jump.
Okay, I can see
You know
that,
what?
too.
Now, because I'm trying to think, I'm like, what's the we know what the robot's obviously the bad guy now because robot war, we know it's gonna happen. But what's like the conflict? You know, like
That's what I mean.
like
He
the
hasn't done
Viltrumites
anything.
were conflict, but they're literally not an issue anymore. We know we are all in agreement,
Yeah.
right? That Ursul's not a problem. Like they're
Do you
not
think
gonna.
Robot is going to feel threatened because now
Absolutely.
there's a lot more Viltrumites?
Now Mark, who hates Robot, has the Viltrumites on all of them, has all
so
of them
you're
on his
saying that
side.
Mark finally has an army that can stand up to robots.
Right, but what's going to happen is I don't think there's going to be a time jump. I think maybe 3 months, but over the course of how long the comic takes, not like how this took place right after the last one, but it's going to be like maybe a couple weeks or whatever. But
I mean, remember there was a time
Robot-
jump when Ellen blew up and it was just one page
Yeah.
and it showed the panels of him.
yeah, Robert or Mark is going to be incapacitated, and Robot is going to take advantage of the fact that Mark is not a threat, and he's gonna do whatever it is that he's been planning this whole time, which is more. He's had something up his sleeve, and Mark's on the table, so Mark is going to be out of commission, I guarantee, for the next 2 issues.
I don't know about that
And he's
because
gonna
I
make
do
a-
think that
he's-
Mark is the only thing that's keeping Robot at bay.
Yeah, fucking yeah.
Alan has this whole fucking army now.
So what? They're not Mark.
So what?
They're
Who the
fucking.
fuck is Mark? Like Alan's just gonna sit back
Mark
right now?
dove into the sun and came out.
So Alan's like, oh, he's fucking shit up, but I'm just gonna wait until Invincible's feeling better. Fuck that.
No.
Alan's gonna fucking take the army. I think.
Alan has no stake in Earth at all. Why does he care?
You don't think Alan cares?
No, he doesn't. The Earth is not a part of the coalition.
He cares about Nolan, and Nolan cares about Earth.
I guess
I think
so,
he would
but I
fight
don't.
for. He cares about Mark, and Mark cares about Earth.
That's what I understand, but Robot has a pretty big army, and we don't know. Robot
the
could have been
thing.
doing something that we don't
Everything-
even see. It's
Oh,
gonna.
I
It
know.
could be a flashback.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's
You know what?
true.
It could be a fucking flashback to the 5 years that were gone, and him building up an army that's like
That's the thing,
fucking
we haven't
enormous
really
in
seen
multiple
anything.
dimensions. I have a question. Why, when we went back to Earth, was the interdimensional people there? You don't think Robot had something to do with
yeah,
that?
we talked
I
about
guarantee.
those,
You know
the
what? I'm making a
technicians.
fucking prediction. We're going to see a flashback to the 5 years of Robot's plan and what he's been doing, and now it's going to come to fruition. Guarantee it.
Sure.
All the things that he's
But
done, leading the technicians to Earth.
Well, using the technicians' technology, there's a reason why the technicians were there.
Yeah, interesting. If we never get an answer to that, Bill, I think that would be an awesome story to tell, because I agree with you. Let's move on a little bit, unless you got something else to say. I want to read an email. Remember,
think so.
you can
Didn't think
email
so.
us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. This one's from our friend Ben over at the Nerds Chatting Podcast.
Ben?
Oi!
Oi!
Hello.
He says, hey guys, how are you? Ryan, I hope the hand
No,
is
he
feeling
says-
better.
Hello,
Hey,
mates.
guys,
Hello,
hey.
governor.
Yes. Yes.
Zinnia.
With my
Good job.
shrimp on the barbie.
Pot of tea. That's Australian.
Yeah, I
That
know.
makes it even better. He says, hey guys, how are you? Ryan, I hope the hand is feeling better. TJ, Bill, you guys okay?
Yeah.
It's a little fucking hot in here. Especially after reading,
That Sun issue?
like,
I know. Okay. He says, well, here we are, issue 140. Oh my gosh, this issue felt like turning every page was like being hit in the face. I was constantly on the edge of my seat. So Mark flew Thrag into the sun. That is a strategy that I did not anticipate, if I'm honest. Thrag's last words ever on this book were, oh hell. The 4 panels on page 6 where they go in and then you just see the sun bubbling away and then they burst free, horrifically scarred and burnt. Man, did I feel it. Bottom left panel, page 7. Who's hitting who? Is that Thrag hitting Mark or vice versa? I loved when we saw Mark's thoughts and I loved what he said. Kirkman at his best. Then Robot showing up. So is this is that going to be a key issue or in 142's Robot War? Key in next issue or in 142's Robot War? Even after everything, Rexbot sent Mark help, which gave him just enough extra time and power to win. Will Mark finally accept Robot's rule and live on the moon with his dad, even if he's alive? Or if he's even alive? This issue was crazy and everything I wanted it to be. That being said, even after all this time, after everything he's done, I will miss Thrag. I think the images of him just disintegrating were a difficult read. It made me cry a little. Happiness? Sadness? Both? Man, I don't know. but I can't wait for 141. Shout out to Ottley's continued superb artwork. That guy's a genius. Can't wait to listen to the show. Speak to you guys soon. Ben, shout out to Nerds Chatting and their daily Invincible cover over on Twitter.
Yeah.
No.
What's it?
What?
No. To his
No, what?
question.
What's
To his
your question?
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that he's going to overthrow Robot, and Immortal's going to take his place, and then Invincible's going to go off to be the lead of the Viltrumites. And my prediction is that they're going to go off to do a planet rehabilitation program like
Oh, man, I hope so.
Nolan lied to him this
It's
whole
going to...
time.
TJ,
what if
didn't
it
you say
ended
that?
like that? Oh, dude.
I think TJ said this. I don't know if you were here, or it was a while ago.
I said it
But
like
I think
on
it should
new
be-
issue like 134
And I'll give you
or
credit for
5.
this. This is an awesome idea. Mark creates the world that his dad lied to him about.
Yeah.
And it actually shows them rebuilding
Yes,
things.
I
and
love that.
That would be
Kirkman,
great.
please.
But now
it's so good.
Ben brings up an interesting point that kind of
already
why did Robot help Mark? Because he wanted to ensure that Thrag was dead because he was a bigger threat? Because it was pretty clear that they were both probably going to die.
Yeah.
And if Robot wanted Invincible out of the way, why did he help
interesting
him?
thought. I mean, I don't know. I bet we're going to find out. We have to find out.
I would think so.
That is interesting.
But at the same time, if he could get Invincible on his side, Invincible is a huge... Like, people will listen to Invincible.
True.
So maybe it was just something...
I don't know.
If
maybe
you were-
we're,
if it
maybe
was a
we're all
hand.
wrong, and Robot is a good guy,
If you
and
were-
this threat is another threat.
If you were a villain, oh yeah, Robot
Maybe the
Wars, it could've
Robot
been.
War,
just
he's
that-
fighting something else.
Other
With
dimensions.
his robots, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Mark Sylvie sent us a message on Facebook and said, "Hi, Invincible Podcast. Well, things got naked quickly.
That escalated.
It was also a pretty extreme way for Mark to get a haircut, but awesome nonetheless. I thought it was interesting how Kirkman took the two-way conversation out of the fight. Mark was pretty convincing. Could he have persuaded Thrag to stop? Probably not, but we'll never know. I also loved Alan swooping in to save Barbecue Mark. I was expecting Eve to come in, and I actually cheered when I saw that panel. Regarding future issues, I'm a bit worried about things getting darker and Tara being on the cover. I'm sure she'll be okay, but still, it's Kirkman. God, I hope Mark isn't in a coma until the penultimate issue.
Second to last issue.
I didn't ever heard that word before.
never heard
Penultimate.
of
The
penultimate?
penultimate episode
Penultimate?
of Game of Thrones is always the best episode. Everyone always talks about the penultimate.
No, I've never heard that word before in my life.
Really, but you've heard
That's
of
a fun word.
You've heard of wire thing.
Waiver
Waiver
wire.
wire?
Waiver wire.
Yeah, okay. The recent solicitation says...
I didn't want to read the solicitation with the new issue cover. If people want to read it, they can go and read it. I feel like it's a little too spoilery.
I don't know what it
in my
says.
opinion. I'd rather not.
All right.
Yeah, and you kind of agree. I don't think we should read it. If you want to read it, the solicitation, not only was the cover revealed, but the little tagline was revealed as well, which, I think gives away a little too much. Knowing the covers can lie is one thing, but the solicitations...
Yeah, but people can go online and see it right now.
Oh, if they want to.
If
I
they
don't
want to, let's
yeah.
not them have them
Let
skip
them-
forward.
yeah.
And,
Yeah,
let them
I don't
have
think
that.
it's. I don't think it's gonna spoil anything though.
well,
Go and
that's
look
not up
that
to
up
you.
if you're interested. And I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's spoiler because we know that
Yeah.
they have control.
Yeah, we'll
like
talk
it's
about
not.
it later.
Obviously, they're not. Anyway, great issue. I can't believe there are only 4 left. Keep up the great podcasting, guys. Love, Mark.
that hurts.
4.
4
Four.
left. That's
Ugh.
like not even my full hand.
That's right.
Ryan, give me 4. Oh, you have a thumb.
Yeah.
Well, and there's 1 left. When is that thing coming off?
2.5 more weeks.
Oh man, that's fucking terrible.
Sucks. All right. On Twitter, I asked for some responses, and I got a few of them. Logan Moore, who was on our episode as a fan spotlight segment, he says Mark is dying at the end of 144. That's my guess, at least. Next few issues will be about him making peace with everyone in his life. Do you guys think Mark's gonna die at the end? We've kind of touched on this. TJ, you think he's gonna go on and rebuild?
Yeah, he's not gonna die.
I also agree. I think that it's going to come full circle with the Flash Forward episode.
I think
or
there's
issue.
a chance that he might die. I wouldn't bet on him not dying. I wouldn't bet on it.
You know what I would love if, like, in the last issue, it goes back to that scene, like at the end, and as soon as Invincible leaves that scene, like something else happens You know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking know.
Like,
you know what I'm talking about?
furnace attacks.
Like
Yeah,
Invincible.
Thrag comes back and then fucking he's charred, pissed.
I would hate Thrag coming back.
No,
but
of course
like,
not.
I think it'd be awesome if we saw like a small time villain attack and then another superhero.
Like just
Yeah,
comes
like
out of the
something like
sewer,
that.
like comes out like,
That would
is
be really cool.
it safe to be bad again? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mitch responded on Twitter and said, pretty straightforward issue. Huge fight, but the sun with their skin boiling, gross. Super sad seeing Mark all burnt at the end, though. Yeah, he looked gross. And then Buck82 replied and said, I loved this issue. The art was fantastic, the color is beautiful, and the writing top-notch. It's all I have thought about since reading it. Yeah, great issue. Loved it. Yeah, anything else before we go into our fan spotlight, guys? Actually, you know what? I think I actually have one more email. Sorry about that. I have one from Luke. Luke wrote in.
Luke.
He probably never gets
Joyce?
Mom.
Joyce?
that. He had a couple.
that you?
He had a couple Invincible related questions, not really anything to do with 140, but he wanted to know because he was at his local comic shop and he was speaking with a guy working there. He says, I asked him about his thoughts on the upcoming Invincible movie, and here are his thoughts. The comics won't go up in value unless the movie is as big as Guardians of the Galaxy. This movie won't do anything for the comic. And the Walking Dead comics were dropping until the show came out. Not sure if he meant dropping in numbers or value, though. I thought his comments were a little on the glass half empty side and was curious about your thoughts and what you think will happen when the Invincible movie comes out and its effects on the comics.
That sounds like typical comic book shop guy.
Yeah.
Like these comics suck. Like
Yeah.
the
You know
Simpsons
what?
guy.
I was like, we obviously talked a lot about this, but I was thinking more about this. I think it was like yesterday, and I'm starting to have different predictions about this movie.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that because this isn't a well-known movie, I feel like they're going to take a lot of chances. Like, I can see them doing something where, like, Eve is, like, African-American.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think that this could potentially be a Cirque du Freak type of movie where it's like they try to make it more fun than they do about the story.
Would you hate that?
Yes.
I watched
Really?
Cirque du
Yes.
Freak
I'd be cool with that.
3 days ago with Riker.
If it stays true to what Invincible is, changes like changing her race or something like that obviously aren't a big
No,
change.
if you're asking about Eve,
No, I know.
I'm not saying I hate
I know
that.
that's not what you meant.
I'm
but,
saying Cirque du Freak. If it
Yeah.
was like that movie, I would not like
But
it.
was that because the status of that movie? You know what I mean? Like, if it stays true to the comic and it's different, I'm okay with that.
It
because
wasn't
I
true
think
to
we
the
have
book. Cirque du Freak was not
Then
true
there
to
we
the
go.
book.
I agree. Then that's not good.
Right.
But if it's different,
But Cirque du Freak tried to take liberties and jam 3 books into one
8.
story. Oh yeah,
8 books.
and into one, and then like
If you have not read Cirque du Freak, what the
Yeah,
fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's
like it's
true.
a teen book. It's
So
in the teen
I-
section.
But
Great.
the last fucking like 4 are like, oh, I know that these people are
No,
grown up now.
literally, just get through the first 3 books, and literally from then on, it's amazing.
Yeah.
just get through 3 books, then it's good.
No, they're actually small books. I read 8 of them in 2 weeks.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I know this isn't really what Luke asked, but it's I think we gotta be prepared for it to be different. Like, and that's okay.
Do you think that like Deadpool sells more comics now?
So that's the thing.
Deadpool.
You know what?
Absolutely.
You know what I thought
Okay,
of when
so
I,
so you don't think that if Invincible made that much of a mark on like as a movie, people would be like, "What is this coming from?" And
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. But is it going to be that?
Here's the other question, and I thought of as soon as I read Luke's email. Bill, how much do you think it would cost to go on eBay right now and buy a Kick-Ass issue 1?
I don't know, as like $10.
Yeah, it's like nothing. It's like $5-10
But
bucks.
but Kick-Ass was not like Deadpool.
No, but do you
People
think,
were not fucking.
You think
I know.
Kick-Ass was the first movie?
But here's
was
the thing. But
really
here's the thing.
big. I'm not so
Invincible-
sure
Not
that this is
Deadpool
going to
big.
be
Not Deadpool big.
right. But do you think Invincible is going to be Kick-Ass big? You think it's going to be bigger than Kick-Ass?
Yeah, I would fucking hope so.
I
here's
hope
the-
so too, but
here's the
it
thing.
doesn't mean it's going to be.
Invincible issue 1 is not $10 right now, and there isn't even a movie. So I think the price is set based on the fact that so few copies were made, and those copies went to collectors. Like, it is a comic in demand, whereas the Kick-Ass issue 1 probably wasn't a comic that was ever really in demand. I don't know if they printed as much or if they printed way more than Invincible 1. It seems likely. I don't know a lot of that kind of detail. I'm not sure.
That's like Kingsman though. Like Kingsman obviously is a popular movie. Was a Mark Millar comic, wasn't it? Mark Miller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And like I didn't go out and buy a comic book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean about it.
Yeah, I kind of expect the Walking Dead effect. I expect the Invincible issues. If the movie is decent at least. I expect the issues to continue to rise in price for the sheer fact that they are already high and there's so few of them.
But at the same time, going back to what you said about Kingsman, is a lot of people are watching Kingsman not knowing that it's a comic book. When Invincible comes out, they're going to say, this has to be based on a comic book, and they're going to look it up.
By Robert Kirkman, who is affiliated very heavily with The Walking Dead.
And I think Walking Dead is hard to compare to because that was an anomaly. Like, that is so... Yeah. That's a worldwide phenomenon that you can't really compare to... Walking Dead issue 1, the skyrocket that it went through. Very few things in our lifetime will do what Walking Dead did. But go from a small time comic to the phenomenon that it became.
But I mean, we talked about how Walking Dead made such a huge impact on our lives, like, and how amazing it truly fucking was. And what if they did a show and then Frank Darabont comes out of nowhere, Shawshank fucking Redemption, Frank Darabont, and makes it a TV show and brings it to life, and it's everything that you hope for the first, little bit of it anyways. Like, if they did, I guess they did Walking Dead right. We know that they didn't. You know what I mean? That it could, but I mean, just the fact that Walking Dead was such a strong comic, and they did the show close enough to where people saw and got the same feeling. Like, that's why we read it. You know what I mean? We were like, oh, you have to read this, you have to read this, you have to read this. People are like, you have to watch the show, you have to watch the show. Who's to say that's exactly how Invincible was? Invincible just needs like a little bit of. It needs awesome marketing. It needs like perfect
possible.
marketing.
It is possible.
I think so too. I think that it could possibly redefine the superhero genre.
Be cool.
And that it would be a good mixture between like what Deadpool is and what like Guardians is. You know what I mean? Like a rated R Guardians.
Yeah, I hope, man. Oh, that's a good way of putting it. I like that. All right, let's transition over into our fan spotlight. We sat down with Jordyn Gilbert. We haven't actually sat down with him as of me saying this, but we're about to record with him. So here it comes. All right, here we are with Jordyn Gilbert. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you guys?
Good, and I pronounced her name right?
Yeah, it's just spelled janky, that's all.
That's all right. I'm always nervous that I'm going to pronounce people's name wrong, and then finally get to sit down and talk with them, and they're like, yeah, it's wrong.
No, that's all right.
No, it's like how we say Viltrumite all this time, and then someone's like,
Viltrumite.
Yeah, I've been working on it.
I've been saying Viltrumite every time.
Oh, man. Jordyn, when did you start reading Invincible?
So I actually started reading it last year. It was about a month after my son was born. Actually, a couple of weeks he was born. But the funny thing is that I've always known about it. I used to work at a shoe store, and one of my coworkers, his name was Saul, he described the series as basically Superman who has a son and kicks the shit out of him and fucks him up. So I had always known about it for a while. I ended up Googling it. I always saw like pictures and images of like Conquest, and I'd always known about it, but I never actually sat down and took the time to read it until last year. And I started with the first compendium, fell in love with it, and then I got the second compendium, fell in love with that, and then from then on, because I'm a physical person, I love to have physical copies of everything. I told myself, oh, okay, I'll wait until I have enough money to buy the trade paperbacks and go from there. But no, it became an obsession. So I had to start reading it online, and then I started buying them digitally, and then I'm caught up with 140. So I mean, I've been following it for a while, but yeah, that's pretty much how that's been going down.
Now, were you into comics before Invincible?
Yeah, I've always been a comic fan. I think I actually messaged you once. You guys had talked about something about Robert Kirkman's run with Ultimate X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
So, so I messaged you about that. So I've always been a comic fan. I love the Ultimate series, Spider-Man, the Ultimate X-Men, the Ultimates. I mean, being... With comics, there's so much shit out there that, obviously I haven't read anything a lot, but I'm always open to reading new things. I've always been a big reader of Teen Titans. So it was the one where they had it was after Jericho had died and Deathstroke had came back, and it was with Superboy and Kid Flash, the one where he got his kneecap blown off by Deathstroke. So that was a series that I was into at the time. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a big comic reader. I love Batman too. Which one of you guys is the Batman fan?
Well, we
Batman.
both are, but TJ's
I'm
TJ's
very
all
into
up in it.
into the comics.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I just got Nightfall. They put it on sale on Comixology, so I started reading that.
Nice.
Have you read it before?
Actually, haven't. I know they
dude.
pulled like. Yeah, it looks great. I fell asleep on it last night because me being a fucking parent and tired. But I Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I know that they pulled some parts of that from they put that some of the parts into the Dark Knight Rises. So I know him breaking his back and all that.
Yeah.
My favorite character of all time is Azrael, who's pretty prominent. Well, he's like one of the most prominent characters in Nightfall. But if you like that, definitely go back and read Sword of Azrael, which, I mean, Azrael's the one who takes up the mantle of the Bat.
Yeah, he takes the mantle,
yeah, dude,
and then
his story is fucking awesome, and Jean Paul Valley is one of the coolest characters in DC.
Because doesn't he start becoming like really violent, and Bruce Wayne's got to stop him and then reclaim his throne.
Yeah, dude. Looking back at it, it doesn't make any sense why Bruce Wayne would put somebody that's psychotic, literally brainwashed, into taking over Batman, because he wants to kill everyone, and
I'm surprised that hasn't been like a DC animated yet, has it?
Azrael?
No, Azrael's never been in.
He was in the newest version of Azrael made it into like the Arkham games and stuff, but that's not the Azrael that I love. Like he's still Order of St. Tomas.
Are you caught up on Batman currently?
I know what's going on with the Rebirth. I think there's like the Riddler and Joker that's going on, but it's so easy for me to lose track of all the comics that are going on because there's just so many things out, and it costs a lot of money too to stay up on track.
I try
with it.
I try to just stick to the main Batman.
The main ones that you like. Yeah.
A few side stories here and there, but mostly just Batman. But
right.
One question I always try to ask the fans is who your favorite character is in Invincible.
So I know it's probably going to sound cliche, but to be honest, it's probably going to be Mark.
Yeah.
I just love how he's very determined. It's kind of like I can kind of relate to him. He had a kid at a young age. He's very determined, and he's a persistent character. And that's what I like about him. But if I had to not give the obvious cliche Mark Grayson, it'd probably have to be, I want to say either Alan or Nolan. I like how Nolan is. I love the changes that he went through. Because he's a very well written character. He hid his secret for as many years as he did, and then he finally came out. It broke his heart. He beat the shit out of his son, had another family and another son, and he had to struggle with what was instilled upon him for thousands of years. I mean, we don't even know how old he is.
Yeah.
To kind of break those habits, and then he's finally actually redeemed himself as a character. So, and then plus I love the comedic aspect of him and Debbie, him being a pervert and all that. So, yeah.
What's your favorite moment, if you can pinpoint one of the series?
As cliche as it may sound, it probably will be Conquest. I just love the fight between him and Mark. They had a really good chemistry together. And what I love about the series is that each character serves their own purpose. It's not like, they keep bringing one person back and keep rehashing the same bit. The first fight between him and Conquest was probably my favorite. But if I had to choose my absolute favorite, it was probably the second fight between him and Conquest. Because Conquest, he brought his A game the second time. Knew Mark wasn't fucking around, and knew one of them was gonna die probably at the end. So I love that, and I love the Viltrumite War too.
I love the Viltrumite War.
That happened. The second fight with Conquest was during the Viltrumite War, right?
Right after.
Right after it. Literally how it ended.
I thought it was how
Issue
it began,
74.
It ended with.
That's how Conquest began, with the end of the Viltrumite War.
The second fight was off planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went to that planet.
Yeah. So what about from one major fight to the next? What were your thoughts on 140?
Because we already talked about 140.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, 140. I absolutely love 140. And that'll probably be my second favorite fight in the series. There's so much that's going on during that entire issue. I probably reread it probably about 2 or 3 times, but there's so much going on. I love the fact that the sun is shifting and, there's lava flying everywhere. The whole 9 yards, just the environmental aspect behind the sun. Now, Robot is one of my favorite characters because he is the type to, he's just a very different character. But I kind of don't like the fact that Robot came to his aid. I do and I don't because it does add to the story.
Yeah.
But I really just wanted it to be Mark and Thrag. And I really did like the fact that Kirkman went a different route and just went through Mark's thoughts during the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And it does show that he is a completely different person. His mind frame of how he thinks. And he's basically claiming the Viltrumite people as his own now, where he really before wanted nothing to do with them. So I just love the fact that
it wasn't many issues ago that he was contemplating just leaving with Eve and running away.
Yeah, all he cared about was his individual family. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the fact that, how detailed Ryan Ottley was with the muscles and showing the tendons, the head butting, just everything, And it is pretty funny that I find Thrag to be like one of the most pettiest characters in the comic because he literally says, hey, I'm doing this for revenge. Like, fuck you. Like, I don't even care. Mm-hmm. He's very petty. I mean, even then at the end of 132 when he ripped them in half and was like, oh, just leave him so their daughter can die.
Yeah.
So he's very petty.
And we don't, like what you were saying with Rex, I don't know, man. Like, it's so hard to predict, like, what's going to happen to cause the robot war. Like, what was Robot thinking? Like, Bill brought up a good point on the podcast, like, earlier. What was his motive in doing that? Was he trying to help him? Was he, like, wouldn't he have just...
Yeah, why did Robot help Mark?
The thing is, I think he knows that Thrag is the greater evil of the whole situation. And what I predict is going to happen is next issue, it's going to be... I don't know if time is going to pass, but I know it's probably going to be Mark is going to be into a crisp still. Because at the end of the Robot War, or after, the cover 143, they show his hair is like completely buzzed.
But on the cover of 142, his hair
is long. So, I mean, obviously we know the covers don't really do much.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, like, what he's going to look like. Is he going to be, like, raw muscle? Is he going to have some skin on him? And I also think that Nolan will probably either end up dying next issue. He may or may not be able to say a goodbye to Mark. But with Alan being around and the whole chemistry with him and Ursula, I think Robot might end up killing Alan. I mean, it's a possibility that he might kill Alan, punch him in his eye. I don't know.
Yeah, they introduced that weakness.
Point. Yeah, they're going to use that.
So that might be, and I would have, several issues ago, I would have thought that Thrag was going to be the one to take down Alan. But now I'm kind of thinking, I guess maybe Robot could do it.
And you know what's interesting?
Because...
Go ahead, Jordan.
I was just saying, because Alan and Ursula, they're trying to mend the relationship between each other so that way everybody can be a peaceful... unity, but you got Robot over here who's just like, well, I want, he wants the best for Earth, but he's a dictator at the same time. So he might come between those two and kind of kill both of them off. Mm-hmm. And like, no, I don't want you guys around us.
Yeah, I had said something earlier that we're going to find out exactly what Robot's been up to for the past 5 years, the 5 years that we don't know, because there's got to be some sort of scheming plan there. And TJ...
Yeah, there has to be.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I think that Robot's going to make a move with Mark out of commission, and that's going to be the next issue. And he was like, well, why wouldn't Alan just... I mean, he has a whole coalition, and you said Robot could kill Alan. And I think that would be the first step that he would do, is kill Alan, get him out...
Imagine that being
get Alan out of the way so the coalition's no longer an issue. And then he would only have to worry about Mark, who's on his fucking deathbed. And imagine Mark and Alan, or not Mark and Alan, Mark and Nolan laying on separate beds next to each other, like conversing and knowing that they're like going to die together or something like that. Could you imagine?
I don't know.
Hey, we might see a heartfelt issue.
I think that's cool, it's not like... I can't see Mark not fighting in the Robot War.
Right, I'm not saying he's not going to fight in the Robot War, but imagine Mark not being able to do anything to save Alan's
To
life.
save Alan, yeah, I could see that. Especially after Alan
That'd be
just saved
fucked
his.
up, dude. If Robot even did it like in front of Mark or on the ship right there, it'd be fucking crazy.
But again, what is his reasoning? Like Robot hasn't showed his hand.
5 years. Oh, his hand is big and mighty.
Then why save Mark?
I know.
Because Jordan said it too, and I agree too. Yeah,
I don't think he would.
He needed Thrag out of the way.
He's always got an ulterior motive.
Yeah, but like we said in when we talked before, I mean, Thrag and Mark were going to kill each other. You know what I mean? Rex could have had both of them out of the way.
He didn't know that though.
Mark.
He didn't know that. He didn't know that Mark was going to win.
I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah, I think so too. There's no way that he would come to his aid and just, let both of them die or kill both of them. There has to be some kind of ulterior motive behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I got one more big thing I want to talk to you about before we let you go.
Mm-hmm.
The Invincible movie, Invincible in other mediums like video game, TV show, anything else that you could think of. What do you think the future of Invincible is going to be?
I mean, that's a tough question. If in a perfect world, I would want it as an animated series or as a TV show, because I feel like as a movie, there's so much that goes on into this comic that is just impossible to fit into 120 minutes or 150 minutes during the movie. So I feel like an animated show would be the best. I know in the letter columns, Robert Kirkman mentioned something about right after, as soon as the series ends, something's going to be popping in another medium. Yeah. So we might get another answer. As far as like a Skybound kind of game, I know you guys have talked about it before. I can see it happening, and then I don't see it happening. Because with the Telltale kind of twist to it, where they have so many different choices behind it, it leaves it for a lot of room. And then who would be the character that they would cast it as? I think Mike Barrett mentioned Tara, but I don't think that a lot of people would be happy with playing as Tara. They want to be Mark Grayson. They want to be Invincible.
Yeah, I think so. If it's going to be Telltale, if it is going to be canon with the Invincible comics, it's not going to take place after Kirkman ends it. He said before that it's going to be a definitive ending, and I think any stories told are going to be during the course of the series, whether it's during the 5-year gap.
I think if it's Telltale, they're just going to take it straight from the beginning. Why wouldn't they do an iteration?
They could just retell it somehow.
Yeah.
They could, yeah. I mean, that is possible.
Yeah, there's also the Skybound books, that they're starting, so we might get an Invincible related.
The thing is, I want to see, because I'm obsessed with the Viltrumites. I think them as a concept is fucking amazing. I just want to know exactly what their history is, how old they can be, because the thing is, I know it's kind of like backtracking in the conversation a little bit, but is Thrag older than Nolan? I mean, Nolan's got grays, but Thrag doesn't.
Oh, that's true.
And Thrag has been around to make sure that the race, he was there to make sure that the Viltrumites thrive. So how old are they really? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
definitely think there's some cool stories to be told there, like, especially during the beginning when Nolan was first, sent out and they were, turning planets to their aid, and then Nolan being sent to Earth, in the very beginning, the reason he was sent there, and because didn't he want to move up in the ranks, and he was so good at his job that they gave him Earth to himself. I think that's a cool concept, and there's some cool story that can be told there too, and that's also in the same time frame as the OG Guardians of the Globe, who are some fun characters too. You got those Justice League,
the Justice League, yeah.
So, I don't know. I think there's some cool stories that can be told.
Yeah, there's a lot that you can most definitely do with it. I mean, you got Battle Beast still.
Did you read
what's
that in
up
the
with him?
What?
Did you read that in the letters
apparently.
They've been
they said he's gonna make a reference to it, but we're never gonna find out what happened to Space Racer either. So
does that bother you as much as it bothers all of us?
It kind of does, because you got Thrag chasing after him, and then right after that there was no mention of him, and then they finally brought him up again right after Oliver's funeral. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, where the hell has he been this entire time?
Eating a sandwich over in the corner.
It's just It's just like, oh, okay, well, Space Racer's still alive. That's nice, but you know.
Yeah.
But I trust Kirkman. I feel like a lot of people are saying that the story is rushed. But I feel like it's going in the perfect direction. I feel like it's going in the perfect pace.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, he's got a reason for everything that he does for the character, so I'm fucking with it. I'm with it. So, and the thing is, you can't please everybody. Everybody's gonna say, "Well, it's too short. It's being rushed." But I feel like it's going at the right pace.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first 3-ish issues there was a lot of that, but at this point, I mean, it's crazy to think where we're at now, and there's still 4 issues, and we're scratching our heads trying to think of what he can do. Like, what's the conflict in these next 4 issues? What is there left to
And
do?
the robot issue is double size, so he's going to be adding even more story to that one issue alone, so that way he can get for 143 and 144, and 143 and 144 are just going to be epilogue issues. They're going to be aftermath issues.
Yeah,
they have to be.
Yeah.
Because after the robot war, I don't really see any more violence or conflict happening in the series.
I'm excited. Do you think Mark's going to live in the end, or is he dead?
I do. I think he is most definitely going to live, especially at this point. You know, when I was reading 140 and I saw the solicitations for the rest of the issues, I was like, oh, there's no way that Thrag is going to be, you know, there's no way he's going to live. I mean, they got the robot war, and obviously there is no robot war without Mark. So Mark is definitely going to live. Because, like I say, he is my favorite character, I just wanted him to have somewhat of a happy ending. I was actually low-key kind of expecting Eve to die. But, I mean, again, covers don't mean shit in this world, so it's possible that Robot could kill her. I mean, who knows? I mean, and like you said, it's literally exhausting trying to figure out what's going to happen because we're always wrong, pretty much.
That's right.
So,
And that's part of the fun of talking about it.
right.
But we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much, man, for joining us. But also, you've been emailing us so much, and you always give us awesome emails to read. So thank you again for that. Almost every month you send us awesome emails.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Like I said, this whole car bullshit was something I was not anticipating on happening. But luckily, my fiance was the real MVP and knew how much I wanted. I talk about you guys all the time. So, yeah.
Well,
but thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course. Hope everything works out with your car.
Thank you. And I'll be listening tomorrow.
All right. Awesome.
All right, man.
I'm going to go edit it.
Thanks, man.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
Later.
Later.
And we're back. Thanks again, Jordyn, for chatting with us. Before we go, is there anything else you guys want to chat about? I mean, any movies you guys been seeing lately? Did you guys see It?
We saw it
Twice. 2 times.
2 times.
So, TJ, go ahead. Quick review of It. First of all, Ryan, you should definitely go see it.
Was it good?
It was.
I
it
heard
was
good things.
So you hate like scary movies?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it like. I don't think it was like very scary. I really don't. But I thought
Like,
that
I don't
it was,
mind movies like, I love Cabin in the Woods, but I hate Signs. If that gives any indication
Yes.
for people out there.
Right. It's kind of more Cabin in the Woods ish.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not like in your face scary. There are some scary parts. But I don't think it was like I wouldn't call it like too scary to see.
All right.
The story was so good and it's so funny. Like the kids, how
In
they
the best
interact
way.
with how they interact with each other. It is very much Stranger Things.
Cool. Yes. Yeah. I love Stranger Things. So.
Very Stand By Me ish.
All right.
Very,
I
very
think
good.
that the things that happen to the kids outside of like the terrifying clown stuff, like the real life stuff, bullies and other things that I don't want to get into if people haven't seen it, is actually more disturbing and
Really?
scarier
Yes.
than the clown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like really fucked up things that happen. Like it's a new age of movies, and like they're really pushing the bars on what is considered
Jeez.
acceptable. And the first 5 minutes I looked at Bill and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I literally said that and we like laughed about it.
No,
'cause
we said, whoa, that was fucked up.
Yeah, it was like
Wow. So
Oh,
have you gone back and rewatched the original?
I still have not seen the
Ugh,
original. I don't
gross.
really.
I thought you were going to.
I'm going to. I am going to. I've seen bits and pieces of it because it's been all over TV. Obviously,
It's not even going to
but,
compare.
I
I actually disagree with TJ in saying that it's not quote unquote scary,
yeah.
because I think that it's First of all, I agree with your statement where it's like there's a new era of horror movie, and I think that it's blurring the lines of this is a horror movie, so it has to be bad, but it's good for a horror movie. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it was bad.
like horror. Like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, but like even in that aspect,
like horror movies are always like, ooh, it's a horror movie, so it's like always gonna get like a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's still kind of scary.
Right.
This straight up is like a good fucking movie.
And
like,
I don't like moviegoers nowadays where they go to see a horror movie, and I'll be like, was it good? And they'll be like, it wasn't even scary. It was like I didn't get scared at all. Okay, well, you're a full-grown man. You know what I mean?
Was it good?
Was it good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can't see the line between that. Like, it's still a great movie. It wasn't necessarily terrifying, but it was good.
Cool. Katie and I have tickets for Kingsman tomorrow night. I'm really excited. We rewatched the first one. We own it.
Getting mediocre reviews.
Really? We rewatched the first one the other night. Did the first one get mediocre reviews? I feel like it would.
I don't know.
You both are looking.
I'll let you look.
I rewatched the first one the other night. Love it. It's such a fun movie. It's just cool.
Fun.
The music is fun.
me and
like,
Liv watch
fighting-
it once a
fighting
month.
is-
Once a month we watch. It's one of our go-to movies. We're
Yeah.
like, there's nothing on. Let's watch Kingsman.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
So I'm really excited for the sequel. I'll set my expectations accordingly.
About there.
If it's you know, I mean, the first one isn't like the best movie ever, but it's fun, and that's what I'm kind of setting my expectations for this one. So we'll see. Anything else coming out movie-wise or something you guys watched lately?
I always tell you guys to read this or watch this, and you never do it because you're not my friends. But I am friends with a guy named Devin Barry, who told me that if you're a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, you will read the comic. It's not really like a comic, but they're kind of like series. 3 of them come out, I guess, in a year, and those 3 are a story, and then 3 more will come out the next year. Those 3 are a story, and I read the first one, and it's awesome so far.
What is it called?
It is. I don't remember what the first story is called, but it's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said it's like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You did say if you like Avatar: The Last
if you
Airbender, it's like
yeah.
it. It's the Last
It's The Last
Airbender
Airbender.
comic.
So the Last
It's a comic
Airbender
book,
comics.
yeah.
Okay. I've been
Is it old?
I mean, I think, like I said, like 3. They're small books. You can read them in one sitting. It's probably the size of maybe 3 comics, 3 regular issue comics. But it's like a small book, like a soft cover. 3 of them come out a year that make one story.
Honestly, I feel like I'm going to.
And I think there's 12 of them out right now.
I
Is
think
it
I'm going
canon?
to
So
rewatch
it's
before I
canon.
read those.
Really?
I'm going to rewatch before I read those because I need to rewatch.
It is
so
canon, and I read the first part to the first 3 books. You understand what I'm saying? Because the first 3 books is one story. Then the second 3 books is one story. When I purchased them, I got them at Fan Expo. The guy told me that the second set explores Zuko's mom, and he said, simply all I'm going to tell you is that story arc will rip your heart out.
Ooh, cool.
So I can't wait to get to that. But the first one was awesome, and it's very much Avatar: Last Airbender.
Is it written by the creators?
I don't know if it is, but it's got to be. The
Or at
humor
least
is the
approved
It
same.
just feels the same.
The humor is the same. The dialogue, the story is the same. Like it's funny. The fighting choreography is very much. It's awesome.
Speaking of anime-related things, we don't watch too much. We did watch One Punch Man. Bill,
Not
and I'm
good.
sure you guys. It is good. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. In my downtime away from work when I had a few days off, I've had friends telling me to watch Death Note, and I finally watched almost
On
all
Netflix?
of it. Yeah.
Like
you watched it?
the movie
No,
that just came out.
They okay.
Because I was gonna say
No,
that's
no.
getting fucking like panned by
No,
everyone.
But the original, even though the original might not be the anime, but anyways, the anime, which came way before, it's older.
Okay.
Like one scene in New York City had the Twin Towers in it, so it's a little bit older. Awesome, Bill. I said it about One Punch Man. Trust me, watch at least some of it. I will say one thing: it is like the best season of Dexter that never aired. It's really good. Do you know the premise of it?
I know that a boy finds a notebook from a demon or something like that.
and
From,
if you
They
whoever
write
name
their
he writes
name.
in it dies.
They die.
Yeah.
However he tells them to die.
so very much unlike when TJ suggests something, I will actually do that immediately, Ryan.
You do. Whenever Ryan suggests something, what did I suggest you to watch? We do a podcast based off of Robert Kirkman things, and I suggested Outcast to you, and you're like,
Didn't you watch Outcast?
And then you was like One Punch Man, which
I watched.
based on us looks terrible. Like
I watched-
even Ryan can admit, like it did. You know what I mean? And you jumped on One Punch Man immediately.
so good, though.
And then 2-3 weeks later, when I brought up that you and I reamed you about it, I was like, really? You watch One Punch Man before you watch Outcast? Then you watch like 2 episodes.
I wonder why I only watched 2 episodes, but the entire season of One Punch Man. What up?
Jen, who did the Invincible cosplay, did a Genos cosplay, the guy in One Punch Man. It was really cool looking. Any TV shows you guys been watching?
I started The Deuce, which has James Franco in it. It's an HBO show, and it's about like it takes place in the 70s during like the porn and prostitution.
It's
like
James Franco. Yeah.
James Franco, he plays twin brothers.
Yeah.
And it's the best thing he's ever done.
Really?
Like it
I
really
need to
is. I
watch
mean,
it.
it's two episodes out, I think. Maybe the third. Oh no, it's Sunday is when it comes out. But it's like I don't really necessarily like James Franco and very much stuff that he does, but he's really fucking good in this.
Cool.
But there's not
I'll
much
give it a
going on
shot.
right now.
I want to watch. I've been meaning to start Ozark. That's the one you recommended, right?
Oh my God,
Nerd
yes.
Chatting guys listened to it or watched it on our recommendation, and I know they're liking it. So
Yeah,
I want to give it a shot.
very good.
TJ, any TV shows?
I can't really think of any offhand, but I know that there was the Orville that I started just to give it a shot.
Oh,
There's
I
only
watched the
2.
first episode and I wasn't impressed.
I actually thought it was not bad. I was expecting it to be like, what's that one movie he did? Like the West movie?
Thousand Ways to Die in the West.
In the
or
West
something
that Seth MacFarlane did from Family Guy. And he's the main character in this, and I thought it was going to be terrible. It was not terrible. I don't think it was terrible.
I think the ending. I think the show has a little bit more heart. I think it's less
it was
crazy than what people are thinking it's gonna be.
I was expecting Family Guy humor where it's just ridiculousness, and I don't think that works live action. But it wasn't like that. It was a little bit like that, but it wasn't just ridiculous humor, and there was a lot of character building, and there were like intimate moments.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty
when
good.
it shows the banana age really fast, he's like, "We will no longer fear the banana." And I laughed out loud.
I will say this: we are all fans, big fans of Last Man on Earth. I think that I like
Fuck yes.
the first episode of Orville more than I liked the first episode of Last Man. Because first episode of Last Man, I was like, yeah, I guess I'm intrigued to watch more. And then I watched more, and as it continued, it got awesome. I think that this has potential to get awesome. It's not there yet.
To be get awesome.
awesome.
I haven't watched anything new, but I'm hoping that the second season comes out soon because they just released the first season on Netflix, which everyone should watch. The Good Place. With
Kristen Bell?
Dude, it's fucking awesome.
Is it really?
It is so funny, and the story is so good.
They like that was one of those trailers that Hulu like shoved down your throat. I remember.
And it's dude. It's so Katie, and you will fucking love it. You'll eat it up, dude. And like Liz and I watched it religiously every week. Every week we waited for it, just like that. And Last Man on Earth, we couldn't wait for.
One show that. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Last Man on Earth should be coming back soon, right?
So, and should
October
The Good
1st.
Place. Is it really that soon?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Do you remember how it ended?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah, good stuff.
One show that you swear by, Ryan, and you always try to get me to watch. I came so close to watching it the other day because it was on DirecTV to stream the entire first season. This Is Us.
This Is Us, dude.
It's
Get
literally
caught up.
everything I've
Dude,
seen that
it's
was just
starting soon.
women crying. That's
Yeah,
all.
but that's
it
what you
is.
said. That's what you said. 13 Reasons Why. You said that's depressing too.
True.
So trust me, it is really good. It is a really good.
I'm sure.
show.
Like I said, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I just have trouble with what I've seen. I have trouble picking it up. But at the same
Yes.
way, 13 Reasons
no.
Why, with it being
same
very
reason
like
why I haven't started that.
teenager, depressing, I can understand why you don't want to pick it up. But
Yeah.
that is a great
But
show.
I'll watch it.
Will never watch This Is Us. I don't care how good it is. It looks so boring and
It
not
looks
interesting.
boring and not
at all.
interesting. I'm sure
yeah.
it's good though. I'll watch it eventually.
What about video games? Or do you have another show?
Oh my god, no video. I've been playing. I was playing so much Destiny 2. It's so good, everybody. If
Should I
anybody
get it?
is-
I don't like online games.
Bill-
Should I get it? Should I?
Bill-
Because I have headphones.
Bill, you wouldn't
Bill,
like it.
You would like it, and
No,
I would
you
let you
wouldn't
play it. In fact, I should just let you borrow it. You have headphones. You would love playing with us. We play all the time. We're constantly on. Anybody listening, email us. You could play with us. It's such a fun game, Bill. You would like it.
But I haven't played a lick of the first one.
You don't need to.
Or anything.
You don't need to. All right. What was I about to say?
Is there a campaign? Like, is there a
And
story?
the story
Like,
missions are awesome, and it's a good length for that kind of game.
how long?
6-7 hours.
That's short as shit.
No, for when that's the small part of the game. Like,
guess
that's
so.
that's
Ryan has been playing Destiny 1 since he was born. That's how long he's been
I
playing.
actually did
like
not play it the
7
first
hours.
yeur it came out. I didn't play it
I
till
know
the
you
second
didn't.
year.
How many hours do you think realistically you've put into to Destiny 1. Do
Destiny
you even
1?
know?
Oh, I know. It's a lot. I don't know
many?
offhand, but
I know how many I've put into Fallout 3.
It's several hundred.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. How much did you put into Fallout 3?
Like 300.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
want to say it was 500-600. Like,
Holy fucking shit, Ryan.
dude, it's
All
so
they
much.
do is play.
No, how many
they
years
cancel
straight?
plans.
How many years straight did you play
real
Fallout
plans
3?
to play Destiny?
Because we
Not many,
we
like
played-
2 or 3.
That's what I mean. We played Destiny 1 for 3
Yeah.
years, and now Destiny 2. Like, it's fun.
That's
It's
fucking-
You'll see. I'll tell you more about it.
All right, I did something based off of TJ's. Did you have something?
No, I was going to go more video
okay.
games.
So I got a PlayStation Now subscription
Did you?
for $20 a month,
Did you?
Worth it, right?
and it is fucking amazing.
That's what I keep
I feel
saying.
like
And
It's just
so
the library is
overwhelming.
Huge. I said
So overwhelming.
I said literally, this is how I sold it to Bill. I said PlayStation Now was created for
people
you,
like Bill.
for
Yes.
you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So people that like to go back to play older games and to play games that they
I was
never
wondering
got to
why
play.
you were playing like Uncharted 1. I was like, what
3,
is
Uncharted
happening?
3.
Oh, it was
yeah.
Uncharted 3?
Yeah, I played. So I Fallout 3 is fucking on there,
Yeah.
and dude, I can play that on my Vita,
Yeah, that's cool.
dude. So that God of War 3, and then
I've been wanting to replay God of War.
yeah,
3.
dude, just those games like you're just like casually wanting to be like, and I have nothing to do right now until, what the fuck, Wolfenstein 2 comes out soon, and I think that's it. I think that's all.
In a week, the Super NES Classic Edition will be out, and I'll be able to play that because it only requires.
Did you
thumbs.
pre-order it though?
Yeah, Matt actually, our friend.
Didn't they
Matt
fuck
actually
that
did
up
one.
and have to like refund
Oh
money
yeah,
or something
I did
like that?
do that.
You were part of the fuck up?
Yes, but they don't take your money. It's just like you just hold it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that wasn't a big deal. But we did get a pre-order, and so I will have that. So I will be playing some regular NES.
Interesting. How often do you play your NES mini thing?
I've beaten half the games on it, and I want to play it some more. I definitely play it now that I don't have fingers. So I was actually going to be playing it this week. But no, I love it. I love going back to old games.
Another game that came out that surprised me, I was like, oh, this is just fucking out now, is not a game to be taken seriously, but Marvel vs. Capcom came out.
I played the demo, and I was so unimpressed, dude.
Oh, that's where Ultron.
Yeah.
We
is like
fucking
the-
lived
Oh, yeah.
for Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Oh, yeah.
And this is
2 is awesome, 3 is awesome, and this
3
one
was
just
amazing.
This one just
Really?
wasn't that good.
it's $60. I don't think I would pay
No.
$60. It's a full price game. I don't know if I'd pay that.
Redbox it.
The
in-
only
in
thing
a
that I
week.
don't like, that I hated about it when they announced it, is that it's like they're only going with like the movie people.
Well, that's
like,
the thing,
like,
yeah,
I
there's
hate
no-
that. Like
yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was
There's
awesome
no
because it was like
X-Men.
it was Iron Man, Wolverine, and like Spider-Man all in one game. You know what I mean? Now that's got to be like just.
Yep, I
I
know.
don't like it.
The cinematic?
Yeah, it's just cinematic characters.
Oh, really?
Yep, because Marvel doesn't have the rights to throw around like that. There's that whole beef with Fox and all that
Interesting.
crap.
Interesting.
All right, but so rounding us out before we go, how about some comic books? TJ?
Well, I talked about Last Airbender, which is a
Oh
comic.
yeah, that's true. We did mention that.
So,
I haven't read too much other stuff. Saga continues to be awesome.
It's just every...
I almost hate reading it month to month though.
Dude, I really fucking hate it.
I'm too behind. I pretty
Binge
much
them.
wait on.
Oh my god,
I
you know how
like-
fucking
I
ended?
like to read
Oh
three.
my God.
I like to read like 3 at a
I
time.
can't, it's one of those things that I can't help it. I want to let them build up and binge them. I just can't help it. When a new one's out, I have to read it.
It's like, are you really going to wait to watch an episode of Game of Thrones?
It's kind of like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's exactly like that. I
Where-
can't believe how it ended.
Game of Thrones.
No.
Oh,
Saga.
Today I got my issue because my comic shop is it doesn't open on Wednesdays, which sucks. So I get them on Thursdays. But I got the new issue, the first issue of Gasolina. I want to try that. I've been hearing good things about that.
Yeah.
And before we came in here to record, another Skybound comic, Kill the Minotaur. Universal is making it into a movie. So that's a comic that's on like issue 4 or 5 or something like that.
And then it's already being made into a movie.
And they have the rights.
What's the
Universal has the
synopsis?
rights.
Otley did a cover.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Didn't he?
No, the
he
one that
did.
he keeps showing is
No, that's Lopper.
Headlopper or whatever.
Headlopper.
But
Not
anyway,
that one. I thought he
it's-
did the cover. Of one
It's
of them.
a Greek mythology. You know, the labyrinth, Minotaur, Daedalus. Like it seems really cool.
Minotaur.
I
What
knew
movie?
one of
What
you were
movie?
going
Come
to say
on.
that.
Movie, what movie?
Don't ask me that stupid question.
Ryan, what movie?
I don't know, you guys like it.
What movie, TJ?
Role models.
Yeah, role models.
Don't believe it. No, I don't believe my eyes. A Minotaur.
Did I guys show you a picture of my hand?
Rub-a-dub-dub.
Did I show you a picture of my hand? when the doctor keeps wrapping up. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, okay.
It's not too bad.
I don't do good with real gore. I really don't. I can take
TJ, do you wanna see
anything.
it?
Yeah, I'm fucking see it.
You saw it for like a second, Bill. It's not bad.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
Fuck my ass.
Oh, fuck my ass. Get out of my leg.
Oh, forgetting Sir Marshall. Great movie.
Oh, my God. You have a Z on your hand.
Yep, it was Zora.
like
Zora was my doctor. That does it for us. We should wrap up. This was a good long episode. Remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. TJ, you okay?
I'm good.
Is there a B?
No, I was trying to smack him, but
Why are you trying to smack me?
Thank you all for listening. We appreciate it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Look out for New York Comic Con. We're excited for what's going to be announced there. And what, Bill?
Hey, I have a suggestion. If you guys can't wait 2 weeks, why don't you just cut this episode in half, and this can be a part 2, like a two-parter.
Seriously, this is a long episode.
It's gonna be like
so
2 hours long,
it
so
is.
enjoy.
Enjoy.
or this
And-
could be like a part 1 of 1. Ha! Get it?
Oh,
no,
part 1 of
fucking
1.
Robot War.
All right,
You
everybody.
don't fucking know things.
Thanks
you
for
don't know
listening.
things.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Of all, there's a counter on this ball.
Skip it. Skip it. What else you got?
Those are the two that have been in my head all day.